Oh yeah, it's the Ghostbusters. Yeah, that's right, I got the Ecto one from the real Ghostbusters, not the shitty reboot, for my birthday, and made our little Ghostbusting team there in Lego. But I'm not here to talk about Legos. I'm here to talk about Ecto Cooler from High C. Little background on me. I was a ridiculously huge Ghostbusters fan as a kid. I had the firehouse, I had the big Ecto that your toys go in, I had all the action figures, and I mean all, even the weird, like, kinda changey, like, fake toilet that eats people, and, like, all the weird toys that weren't even in any episodes of the cartoon. I had the proton pack, I had the EKG meter, I had the trap, I had this little, like, weird gun that had, like, a little, Viewmaster wheel in it, and then it had light so that when you shot it at the wall, it had a ghost face that appeared on your wall. I had the Janine action figure. I had an action figure of a female secretary. That's how much I liked Ghostbusters. I was just a huge fan. I was 1 year old when the first Ghostbusters came out. I eventually watched it like a million times on HBO as a kid. And then Ghostbusters 2 came out in theaters in June of 1989, and it was, I believe, the second non-Disney or non-overall children's movie I'd seen in the theater. The other one had been a few weeks earlier, Tim Burton's 1989 Batman, which was actually PG-13. Ghostbusters 2 is PG. And I remember having a toothache that day, but I still remember the experience vividly of being like 6 years old, or actually 5. I would turn 6 in that August. So I was actually 2 months shy of being 6 years old, but 5, and going to see Ghostbusters 2. And that came on HBO all the time the year after. So I knew Ghostbusters 2 by heart. In fact, growing up as a kid, I actually liked Ghostbusters 2 more than Ghostbusters 1. Now, as an adult, I recognize that Ghostbusters 1 is the better film, but I still don't quite get the hate that Ghostbusters 2 gets. I think it is a perfectly solid sequel with some really good jokes and actually a pretty tight script for a movie like that. But whatever. People can disagree, like the Honest Trailers people who did a really bad job with Ghostbusters 2. But the point is, I was a huge fan, and I had like everything Ghostbusters. I'd say like Batman and Ghostbusters were the two things I grew up with that were like omnipresent throughout my childhood, at least until like the age 14. And having everything Ghostbusters, I had to have the drink of Ecto Cooler, which didn't come in cans at the time. It came in like a little green juice box with with the little plastic straw you poke in with the cartoon Slimer on the cover or on the front of it. And it also came in like the mix where you mix high C in a big bowl of water with a wooden spoon, and it never quite dissolves all that well. That kind of high C. Yeah. But here's the thing. I hated Ecto Cooler's taste. I absolutely despised the taste, but because it was tied to Ghostbusters, I insisted that it be bought for me at the grocery store every week, and I drank it religiously despite hating the flavor. That's how hardcore with Ghostbusters I was as a child. So, anyway, it's been a few years since there's been any Ghostbuster media because Bill Murray and Sony didn't want anything to do with a sequel. Then Harold Ramis dies, and then Amy Pascal at Sony decides she wants to do this whole female Ghostbusters thing, and you have Paul Feig. And the thing is, they made a reboot that nobody wanted who likes Ghostbusters. We didn't want a reboot at all. We wanted Ghostbusters 3, even if Bill Murray was going to be a dick and not want to do it. Even with Harold Ramis die, just get Ray and Winston, have them train a new group of Ghostbusters. Make it like that Extreme Ghostbusters cartoon where you had like a woman, you had a paralyzed guy. Just make it, you could have done a great thing with a Passing the Torch movie, more like Ghostbusters The Force Awakens. But instead they did this reboot. Now, a lot of people on the internet, mostly alt-right people and MRA assholes, were bound to hate it because it had a female cast. I have no problem if it's an all-female Ghostbusters cast. Hell, I can think of maybe 20 comedic actresses right off the bat that I'd love to see as Ghostbusters. I mean, even like Mike and Dave wedding dates that came out this summer. If you get Anna Kendrick and Aubrey Plaza as Ghostbusters, you already have two of the four, and they would be great in those roles. I could see Aubrey Plaza as like the female Venkman sort of counterpart, and Anna Kendrick could basically be sort of a version of the Ghostbuster that Kristen Wiig ended up playing in Feig's. But the problem I had with the Ghostbusters remake or reboot was that A, it was not fucking funny. I saw it in a theater with about 15 people. I laughed at one joke. It was about the rental price for the firehouse. And no one else in the theater laughed at all. It is just an unfunny movie. But also, I feel that the new movie was disrespectful because it does not understand what Ghostbusters was. Ghostbusters was not a, hey, we're a wacky comedy with all of these kooky characters, which is what Feig tried to make, and it was awful with these one-dimensional bland characters who are even searching. Even Holtzman, who is the most interesting of the characters, is not a character. She's a collection of autistic quirks posing as a character, and it doesn't work, especially that thing where she's trying to lip-sync the song. It's just grating. And Chris Helmsworth, who got a lot of thing, he is a parody of the dumb secretary character, which a lot of movies are guilty of. But not Ghostbusters. Janine was never a dumb secretary. She was a sardonic witch. She was basically like an Aubrey Plaza back then. But whatever. I don't know. And that, and the original Ghostbusters, tonally, it's a comedy that takes place in a horror movie. Like, a lot of the movie is played straight, and then the Ghostbusters sort of throw in a couple jokes sideways, but it's not a wacky comedy. And Paul Feig tried to make it basically the Office version of Ghostbusters. And I like Paul Feig. He wrote a memoir called Super Bad, or Super Stud, that was really good. He did Freaks and Geeks, so I generally like his work. I mean, his later movies, not so much. Spy was okay. I liked Bridesmaids, I liked The Heat. Spy was but I don't know. I found the new Ghostbusters to be unfunny, disrespectful garbage, and I hated it. But at least it did this thing. It brought Ecto Cooler back. And speaking in my capacity as chicken fry guy, you know how I love when discontinued shit from my childhood comes back. So, I could not find Ecto Cooler being sold anywhere locally. It was harder to find than Crystal Pepsi. But, my ex-boss, Casey, hi Casey, if you're watching this, probably not, but, my ex-boss got me, she got Ecto Cooler for herself, and she gave me 2 cans of it, to try for the video and stuff, because I posted that I was gonna go look for it, and I couldn't find it anywhere, and I didn't want to spend, like, the over amount that Amazon's charging for a drink that I remember not liking as a kid. But I at least wanted to try it and see if it's as bad as I remember as a kid, or if it's actually kind of good. So, I got a can. There's also another can in the fridge, but, let's take a look. We got, like, tangerines or oranges here, and, the seal says a blend of orange and tangerine juices from concentrate and other ingredients. Also pasteurized and shake gently. I have to shake my Ecto Cooler? Alright. So I don't like the flavor of orange. I don't like anything that tastes orange or anything that tastes purple. Yes, I know purple means grape, but I call it purple. I don't like anything that tastes purple. So I'm already predisposed to not like that, or anything in tangerine, anything too, like, citrus juicy. I mean, I like lemon and lime flavored stuff, but orange, when you start to get into, like, mango and tangerine and pineapple and all that stuff, I usually don't like it. So already predisposed to not like it. Have high fructose corn syrup, so sugar, and then some colors, and then vitamin C and all that stuff. So it seems like it's mainly tangerine and orange juice mixed with sugar. But, let's just see how it is. It's not carbonated, so it's weird that it had that little fizz. Yeah, it kind of smells orange juicy. Well, let's see if I, still hate this. Oddly enough, I don't hate it. I seem to remember the flavor being more concentrated or more intense when I was a kid. This tastes a bit more watery. It doesn't feel as intense or as much juice. I wonder if they actually cut, like, the percentage of juice. This says it's 10% juice, I don't know. It's also not in any way tart. They seem to have stripped the tartness from citrus drinks. Like, I would initially want to compare this to the Minute Maid lemonade that you can buy in a can. But that Minute Maid lemonade has more tartness. This doesn't actually have tartness. It's actually surprisingly watery. Yeah, I'm actually surprised. This, unlike Crystal Pepsi, which tasted almost exactly like I remember it as a kid, this tastes different. Now, granted, I don't think I've actually had a taste of Ecto Cooler since I was like 8 years old. So, it's gotta be like 25 years or so since I've last had Ecto Cooler or something along those lines. But, yeah, what I'm getting from it is it's not very tart, it's watery. I'm getting a general citrus taste. It's definitely not lemon or lime. It is in the orange family, but it's not overwhelmingly like orange juice. Um, yeah, it's less like flavorful than Minute Maid lemonade. Oddly enough, it's almost like I'm drinking sugar water with a hint of citrus juice in it, which is probably what I am actually drinking. If it's 10% juice, that means it's 90% shit that's not juice. So I'm assuming that's like, 80% water and then 10% corn syrup. Yeah, I guess the biggest surprise for me is that I actually don't mind this. Like, it's not something I would drink on a regular basis, and it's not something I will be sad when they finally take it away, as they inevitably will again. But my biggest surprise, I expected to drink it and find it disgusting like I did as a kid. But I kept drinking it because Ghostbusters. And this is just sort of, eh. I'm sort of indifferent to this. And I did not expect to be indifferent to it. I expected to hate it, and I don't. I wouldn't say I like it either, but I don't dislike it. Does that make sense? I guess I'm agnostic toward Ecto Cooler. Hmm. Oh well, so this video ended up being a lot of my rant about the reboot, because I still feel, even after I've written a review, I still feel like I need to hate that fucking movie. Especially because a lot of the people who hate it for the wrong reasons online. They're hating it because they're against SJWs, or they're just attacking it from this like right-wing standpoint. And as an ardent leftist, and as someone who is not hostile to feminism, I just want to say that the movie is garbage, and it is not good because it's feminist. It's not really all that feminist. Bad Moms is actually a more feminist movie, weirdly enough. And it's not a bad movie because it's feminist. It's a bad movie because it's unfunny, disrespectful garbage. And it also gives me a chance to reminisce about how much I love Ghostbusters. I really do fucking love the original Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. The real Ghostbusters cartoon does not hold up quite as well when you're an adult. It's not a bad cartoon, but it has not aged well. The nostalgia goggles take them away. It's a lacking cartoon. It has a few good episodes, but it's not the best. So yeah, that was Ecto Cooler again. Thanks Casey for getting me some. You rock. And yeah, that's it.